Welcome to this basic PHP spoken tutorial. Here we will discuss the if statement. If you have written code before, you would have come across the if statement. It's not much different in PHP. I'll execute one shortly and show you. So let us start. Okay, here is a brief about the if statement. It takes a condition. If the condition is true, it executes one path of code. If it is false, it will execute another path of code. For example, this is the structure. If inside the bracket is the condition to know whether 1 equals 1, notice I am using a double equal to sign here. This is the comparison operator. In another tutorial, we are going to learn about operators. It reads as is equal to, though it is not the same as equals. When we are using variables, we want to compare. We use double equal to. If you are going for the true path, you can use two curly brackets. We are going to open one here. Our code will go in between the brackets. If it's not true, we'll say else. The same structure, so two curly brackets. For example, if 1 equals 1, we say echo true. If 1 is not equal 1, what we should get when we run our file is false. Since 1 is equal to 1, what we get when we run our file is true. Let us change this. If 1 equals 2, which it doesn't, then we'll get false. So we would have already created a simple program to tell us if one number equals another. This is quite a silly application for a program. So I will just add something more. I'll create a little program for password access. We are going to store the password in a variable here. Say the password is ABC. I am going to incorporate a variable into my if function by saying if password, remember double equals df, and I'll say access granted. Sorry, I made a mistake. DEF is the password we want to ask the user for. ABC is the password I am inputting to the system. So if it doesn't equal DEF, I'll say access denied. The password that I've inputted is ABC. We are going to compare the password to DEF, which is the stored password. If this equals DEF, we are going to say access granted, else access denied. Let's try this. Access denied. This is because the passwords do not match. On this basis, you can see here that I have incorporated a variable. Change this to DEF and we'll get access granted. Because I have one line of code here and another one line of code here, I can get rid of these curly brackets. To me, that looks a lot neater. Please note, there is no point in adding curly brackets if you have only one line of code for simple if statements like these. If you are going to have a line after line here, you'll need the curly brackets. For example, let's set a new variable here. Access equals allowed. That's just basically another line of code. But when I try and run this, we get an error. It says an unexpected T-else on line 8. Let's find line 8. It's here. The line before it is causing a problem, which is why we need to add our curly brackets back in to cater for 2 or more lines of code. We refresh this and access is granted. Now I've set a new variable, access to be allowed. This won't be of much help, but I was just giving you an example. You can see this is still a single line and these are double lines and you can't mix them up. Okay, so I've created a variable. I've incorporated it into an if statement. Hope this was useful. This brings us to end of this tutorial. This is Madhur dubbing for the Spoken Tutorial project. Thanks for watching. Bye.